We have the breakup of Yugoslavia, a conflict primarily taking place in the 1990s. Using the world map, you can really only see that this affects part of Europe, but if you zoom in, you can see the area is the Balkan Peninsula. The breakup of Yugoslavia occurred as different countries seceded, beginning with Slovenia. Other countries are listed below. The United Nations helped control the chaos in the Balkans by providing aid, coordinating ceasefires, and trying some war criminals. While Josip Tito, upper right, tried to unite Yugoslavia and give each republic more of an equal division of power, his death ushered in an era where abusive rulers such as Milosevic, bottom right, led gruesome government-led ethnic cleansings on minority groups. This type of conflict is deemed multinational in that you have ideological differences between ethnic groups in one state, which only became more polarized after the collapse of communist rule in countries around them. Riding a wave of extreme nationalism, Serbs turned their back on the idea of an ethnically homogeneous Yugoslav state and wanted a greater Serbia, which would cover up as much of the peninsula as possible. They hoped for ethnic independence and control over minority groups. Serbs were not the only people who felt this way. Many groups were worried that others would gain power over them. A bit of backstory: Yugoslavia was first created as a kingdom after World War I, disbanded during World War II, and then was recreated as a socialist state in the post-World War II era. A constitution was formed that established 6 constitutional republics and 2 autonomous provinces in the Yugoslav Federation, you can see in the picture. And a federation is a group of states with a centralized government, but they're all independent in their own internal affairs. However, this decentralized government may have been what caused conflict to ensue, and the republic ceased to exist by January of 1992. Reasons vary for how the conflict actually began, but it's largely attributed to cultural and religious divides between ethnic groups, the collapse of communist countries around Yugoslavia and Eastern Europe, the unification of Germany, and the collapse of the Soviet Union. All these factors are centrifugal forces, forcing people of the state apart and into turmoil. Bottom right, you can see that Yugoslavia was facing very, very much inflation because their economy was terrible. The breakup caused a series of conflicts together termed the Yugoslav Wars. This includes the Bosnian War, a war in Slovenia, and some insurgency in Macedonia. There just isn't enough time to go over all these conflicts, so we're just going to discuss the Croatian War. The majority of Croats wanted to become a sovereign state, while Serbs wanted Croatia to remain in Yugoslavia so they could take the land. Fighting occurred until 1995, when Croatia began a much more aggressive combat strategy, launching offensive programs that ended the war. Croats now had their independence and preservation of their borders. As mentioned before, Serbs fought for an ethnically pure republic, but were faced with large Muslim enclaves. Thus began an ethnic cleansing that is comparable to the Nazi genocide, and Muslims were sent to the first concentration camps since World War II. They were massacred and even forced to relocate. A Croat-Muslim alliance, as well as the turning of Serbs against the rulers, such as Milosevic, led to the end of this. I hope that by now you've picked up on the idea that this area is important due to its many ethnic and religious groups, which include Croats, Serbs, Muslims, Orthodox Christians, etc. This diversity is amazing, but it's also what led to the troubles in the peninsula. At this point, the United Nations has recognized Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Macedonia, Montenegro, and Serbia as states. Kosovo declared their independence from Serbia in 2008 and has been recognized by the United States and most European nations. The only exceptions are really Russia and Serbia. Croatia was even inducted into the European Union in 2013 as the 28th country. Diplomatic tensions have been a major stumbling block, but currently Bosnia and Serbia hope to enter the European Union. In order for this to occur, Serbia has to recognize Kosovo, which would help resolve some problems in the area. Politically, the group hopes that the Yugoslav republics will obtain European Union membership within a decade if they set aside differences and recognize Kosovo. Culturally, we figure the groups will remain separate since they were created in order to be more ethnically and religiously homogeneous. Socially, we hope that hate between all the ethnic groups will dissolve and that borders will kind of loosen for better communication and trade. We saw studies that said that the GDPs for most of these countries will almost double within the next decade. Finally, we want infrastructure and wildlife that was hurt by all the wars to be restored. So another way this could have been resolved is if we had created nation-states along religious lines. So remember that nation-state is one ideology, one state, and we thought that this could have been done more religiously, and maybe that would have helped. Also, Bosnia-Herzegovina could have been divided as well. Thank you.